$200,000 dropped on a 603 horsepower Mercedes S63 AMG, plus another $55,000 for a custom 25-carat diamond chain, all within hours of signing an NBA rookie deal. That sounds like the ultimate financial dream. But treating your first massive paycheck like casino winnings is actually a psychological trap that has ruined countless professional athletes. So why do the smartest players on the planet keep falling for it? And what happens when the purchases escalate from luxury sports cars to volatile living liabilities? When Tyler Herro hit the league, he instantly burned over $300,000, proving exactly how fast the cash vanishes. Back in 2018, rookie point guard Trae Young learned this lesson the hard way. Stepping into the league with the weight of massive expectations on his shoulders, he tried to make an immediate, undeniable statement with the Atlanta Hawks. The minute the ink dried on his first contract, he threw $166,000 at a custom matte black Audi R8. 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds.
All right, guys, appreciate y'all stopping by today. My little cheat day.
Honestly, it is an incredible piece of machinery. But rolling up to veteran practice in a vehicle that looks like the Batmobile when you haven't actually proven anything on an NBA floor is basically painting a giant target on your back. His older teammates in Atlanta quietly swiped his keys during a morning practice session. They didn't key the paint or slash the tires. Instead, they backed a massive truck up to his pristine Audi and filled the entire interior to the absolute roof with movie theater popcorn. Yeah, think about that. They turned a six-figure German engineering masterpiece into a rolling snack bin. Trae had to smile for the cameras, but the message from the veterans was brutal and clear. Your shiny new paycheck doesn't automatically buy you hierarchy in this league. Once the reality sets in that luxury cars are actually a social liability for rookies, the spending naturally shifts to things you can wear directly on your body. If the veterans are going to trash your ride, you might as well flaunt your wealth everywhere you walk. Look at what happened back in 2021. When explosive guard Jalen Green was a highly touted rookie for the Houston Rockets, and former #1 overall pick Deandre Ayton was anchoring the paint for the Phoenix Suns, they bypassed traditional luxury vehicles and standard designer wardrobes entirely. Instead, they walked into a jeweler and casually dropped $20,000 each on flawless diamond honeycomb grills. We are talking about permanent, blinding dental ice. It triggered a bizarre league-wide arms race where young players were spending the equivalent of a down payment on a house just to make sure their teeth sparkled during post-game interviews.
You gotta go big, you feel me?
It is a ridiculous escalation of personal branding. If you think dropping 20 grand to turn your mouth into a jewelry box is crazy, hit subscribe right now. Because the things these guys buy only get more volatile from here. But a diamond grill is still just pocket change when you look at the ceiling of modern NBA wearable status symbols. Boston Celtics forward Jayson Tatum looked at the standard Rolexes floating around the locker room and decided to rewrite the baseline of acceptable wealth. He bypassed standard jewelry chains to hunt down something vastly more exclusive. Tatum dropped $500,000 on a rare all-white Richard Mille watch. 500 grand for a device that tells you the time. You can check the time on your phone for free. But that is obviously not the point. The point is signaling to every other player on the floor that your wealth operates in an unprecedented stratosphere. It is a massive ego flex, erasing the concept of money from its practical use. The high-end watch industry tracks pieces like this exactly like fine art, and Tatum effectively put an auction house masterpiece on his wrist just to run pick and rolls. Airport security in 2018 didn't expect to find two semi-feral apex predators inside a standard pet carrier. But that is exactly what happened when the wealth trap transitioned from inanimate luxury items to unpredictable living liabilities. Eager to elevate his lifestyle to an unprecedented tier, Philadelphia 76ers forward Ben Simmons took his early millions and secured a sprawling $3 million penthouse right in the heart of the city.
We're in the dining room, currently just moved in here. We got the living space.
But an empty luxury penthouse isn't enough of a flex, so Simmons decided he needed exotic pets. He didn't just get a golden retriever. He spent $10,000 on two wild Savannah cats. These aren't standard house cats. They are highly territorial animals with explosive energy, and they proved to be unmanageable. When Simmons' brother tried to transport them to California for a visit, the cats went into survival mode. Security insisted the animals be removed from their carriers for a routine scan. If you guessed that it went smoothly, you'd be incredibly wrong. The moment the cage opened, the cats attacked. It took 3 separate airport employees to finally subdue them, leaving Simmons' brother visibly bloody and sending the terminal into a state of unscripted panic. $10,000 spent just to unleash dangerous predators inside an international airport. But Simmons wasn't done letting his ego dictate his financial decisions. Not even close. If the cats were a logistical nightmare, his next purchase was a calculated strike at the ultimate hierarchy of the NBA. LeBron James is widely known to own one of the rarest vehicles on the market, a Porsche 918 Spider. Simmons, determined to prove his financial weight, couldn't just buy the exact same car. He had to find a way to outdo the king. So he tracked down his own 918 Spider and then paid an astronomical premium for an exclusive factory package.
Straight from Italy, I built it probably a year ago now.
Simmons had virtually every standard piece of the hypercar ripped out and replaced with pure carbon fiber. The final price tag hit a staggering $2 million. He spent an extra $1 million just to make absolutely sure his vehicle was slightly more exclusive than LeBron's. It is a revealing look at how unearned wealth distorts reality. He wasn't really buying a vehicle to drive it around town. He was buying a $2 million argument. When the spending reaches this level of multi-million-dollar absurdity, reality starts blending into pure mythology. Take the infamous story that exploded across the internet, claiming Charlotte Hornets guard LaMelo Ball dropped $10 million on a massive residential compound. The rumor insisted he built a private rooftop helipad specifically to buzz over his team owner, Michael Jordan. Turns out, the entire compound story was a fabrication cooked up by an internet satire account. The wild part isn't that the story was fake. The wild part is that millions of basketball fans instantly believed it without checking a single fact. We have become so conditioned to seeing young stars drop astronomical fortunes on things like watches and wildcats that a rooftop helipad designed to annoy Michael Jordan sounded perfectly plausible. The myth easily outgrew the truth because the stereotype of the rookie ego trip has become a tangible reality in modern basketball culture. Up to this point, the wealth trap has strictly involved players burning their own money on ridiculous status symbols. But there is a paradigm shift happening in the modern NBA, and it reveals something deeply uncomfortable about how some athletes view the people who actually pay their salaries. Back in January of 2022, De'Aaron Fox was the undisputed franchise point guard for the Sacramento Kings. Operating with total financial security, he was sitting comfortably on a newly signed $163 million maximum contract extension. During that time, he decided to launch his own cryptocurrency project called Sweepa the Fox. He charged his own fans around $250 per NFT, promising exclusive access, signed merchandise, and real-life rewards. 3,000 die-hard supporters bought in, handing him $1.6 million in funding. And then, just a few weeks later, the entire project vanished without a trace. Fox abruptly shut down the website, deleted the Discord servers, and scrubbed the social media accounts. He claimed he was just too busy playing basketball to manage the project and essentially told his investors their money was gone. This is the true danger of unchecked athlete wealth. It is not about buying an ugly car or an oversized chain.
It was tough. We had a hell of a season.
It is the realization that a player making over $30 million a year would casually treat 3,000 of his most loyal fans as disposable exit liquidity. For a fraction of what he earns in a single month, Fox committed permanent reputational suicide. When you look at the sheer scale of the waste, the ego trips, and the broken trust, the narrative of the NBA rookie check feels overwhelmingly cynical. But the perfect antidote to this entire system comes from the player who literally gave it all away. When Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo received his very first paycheck back in 2013, he didn't walk into a Mercedes dealership or a high-end jeweler. He took a taxicab straight to a local bank and wired every single dollar back to his struggling family in Greece.
It's unbelievable. They wouldn't be who they are today without going through what we went through. And I'm proud of both of them.
He was so deeply focused on saving them that he forgot to keep enough money for his return fare. With a game tipping off in less than an hour, the future MVP was forced to literally sprint through the freezing Milwaukee winter in just a windbreaker. He ran down the streets until a local fan in a tiny Honda Fit recognized him and generously offered him a ride to the arena. Giannis had to fold his massive 6'9" frame into the backseat of an economy car without a single dollar to his name. It is an awestruck, beautiful reminder. The guys who buy the helicopters and the diamond grills eventually fade. But the guy who emptied his bank account to save his family? He ended up inheriting the entire league.